instead turned her eyes to the forest on the opposite side of the path to the north. Suddenly she seemed to discern a shape in the distance following them. It was a shadow that appeared and disappeared intermittently, movements totally familiar to her. "Amma!" she cried as she ran towards him. "Wait for us! It's too dangerous! Don't go alone!" Constantine shouted. Helena was already in the greenery. Behind the first thicket, she came to a small clearing where she was overcome with shock. During this time, the team led by Yusef and Alicia reached the cathedral via the underground passage. It took half an hour in a smoke-filled atmosphere with almost no air to breathe to release the trapdoor mechanism. Their coats were covered with dust, and the smoke emanating from the burnt wood filled their lungs, their clothing, their hair, and their perspiration. In the main room, they were busy wrapping the burnt corpses of Michel Romblot and Jacques Chatelier in order to retain the memory of them when they were alive, and the brilliant power of the former's trombone playing and the musical exclamation points of the latter's kettle drums. They were so much more than the two lifeless masses lying on the ground. The next task was to put out the fires and then to ventilate the room by opening what was possible to open. It was the only way to stop the gasping for breath and the coughing. As the smoke began to die down, they discovered something enormous, which seemed to have always been there, and yet appeared to them for the first time. Speechless, they all stopped dead in their tracks in the face of this incredible revelation. At the same moment in the forest, Helena was looking at something that filled her with emotion. Not only was Amma the wolf there, but behind him was an entire pack of wolves and wolf cubs, his family. The lively and excited young cubs wanted to come closer and play with the new arrival, but a big, totally white wolf, with his tail raised as a sign of dominance, turned his head in their direction, howling and showing his claws at the same time. The youngsters did an about-face and stayed in the rear of the pack, their ears perked up as a sign of intense curiosity.